I just wanted to speak to you about the topic of self-love and how many people, I think around the world, don't seem to practice it often anyway. And I don't think, we're all guilty at some point or some time, but I think self-love is not just about taking care of yourself physically, but it's also what you tell yourself, the kind of words you say to yourself. And I listened to the good thing that I found when I reflected on my own life for the past few days, because I wanted to cover this topic, has always been I have never ever I think for the whole of my, let's say, the 37 years of my existence, have never criticized myself. So I've never said I'm ugly, or I am too anything to love, or I'm too silly, or I'm too dumb, or how can I believe certain things would happen for me. I've never really had that conversation with myself. Now, we all suffer setbacks, whether it's goals or, maybe you wanted to get married or something anyway. But it's one thing, I think, to have setbacks, but it's quite another to really bash yourself and really attack yourself and create such a damage. And I have never done that. I've always been very fortunate in, even before I was awake, or even before I was aware of the whole law of attraction, or what goes around comes around, the universal laws. I have been very lucky that I have never said anything bad about myself, and I honestly don't feel I needed to. Yes, there were setbacks, and I've made many mistakes, God knows that, but I have never found a time where I thought, well, it's my fault, or or I don't deserve it, or I shouldn't have it, or I'm not enough, or I am anything like that. I'm not lovable. No, quite the contrary. For me, and I think I'm very unique in many ways, as we all are. But I'm very unique in my thinking, that I believe that I've always believed that I deserve the best, that everything that I do seems to be the best. Example I will give you is anything that I enjoy doing. So it could be cooking. I'm always cooking. I love food. I love cooking for people. I love cooking for my children. Inviting family and friends and test them on certain recipes, and I love doing that. Cooking for me is an expression of love. It's nurture. I know how, all the herbs on the planet that I need to put into certain dishes and the spinach, and how to create really nutritious food for my children, for my family, friends, colleagues, and so I even if I get certain things wrong, and in the earlier days, in my 20s, I would, burn certain things, and I wasn't really quite an expert in certain dishes when I look back on it. But I really have always put it down to lack of practice or some other thing. But I've never said, this is my fault or anything like that. No. Even with setbacks, I would really kind of go through, all right, so where did I go wrong, and what do I need to do, and maybe I need to fund it more, or I don't know, I would kind of go through the goal and break things down to see where I'm going wrong or where things are not working, but I never blame myself for not achieving it. I also don't blame myself if people decide to leave my life. I always, think of it as, well, I'm not for everyone, and I'm really not. And I'm okay with that. In fact, I think if it's someone kind of damaging, or someone who's full of drama or arguments and things like that, I can't wait for them to go, so I can attract beautiful people in their place. I let go of people. I am very detached from a lot of things of the world. I love the world, don't get me wrong, and I enjoy things. Oh my God, anything that I do it with extra. I love the memories, the experience, the adventure, the exploring. I love using all my senses to kind of experience life, and that's beautiful. But at the same time, I don't know, I've never understood people that kind of feel like, well, I don't know, they say all the negative things on the planet, but yet they expect to have a positive life, and you look at them like, well, stop talking this way then. You might just you might just have the life you want. And as the law of attraction says, focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And somehow that bit of information seemed to have escaped people, so they do the opposite. They focus on what they don't want, and then that creates more of what they don't want. But the tip has always been to tip the scale, has always been to focus on what you do want. Have a vision. Get a pen and a paper. Write things in detail. Like, I'll give you an example. Maybe you want an ideal partner for marriage. What qualities of what characteristics do they have? What do you want them roughly looking like? Maybe if it's a lady, maybe you want them to have a long hair, you want them to be tall, slim, things like that. Write it down in detail, especially the characteristics. It's a bit like giving your order in a coffee shop. You know how we say, can you put 2 spoons of this? If you're ordering things like cappuccino, or anything with tea or whatever, you give them the order. Yes, can I have 2 sugars with it? Can it be with lemon or whatever? It might not be the cappuccino with the lemon, but you get what I mean. You give them all these things. Can I have a bit of mint? Can I have a bit of this? Can my milk be like this? Can the whatever they're mixing, the water be this temperature? You give them the exact things you want. It is no different. There is no different in the list that you give God to. So you go through your list. I want the person to be like this. I want my house to be like this. I want I want to say, like, if you want to have a children and you just got married and you're kind of expecting to have children, you can visualize maybe having a girl first, maybe having a boy first, then the girl will follow. Do you see what I mean? Plan your life just like you would do a shopping list, like just like you order your coffee or whatever. Be detailed, and then give it to God and put it out in the universe. Speak it, live it, envision yourself, walking around in the particular particular house, or life, or I don't know, whatever it is that goal is. Visualize it and stop thinking that you don't deserve what you want. Wasn't it? I think it was Heath Ledger. He passed away a long time ago, but a few years back. But I think he said, don't ever let anybody tell you don't deserve what you want. And I am a firm believer in that I deserve the best. I am the best. Seriously. I deserve just about the best manners. I expect people that are in my life to treat me accordingly, to really respect me, greet me nicely as I do for them, and things like that. And why should I lower my standards? This is what I expect of the world, and that is exactly what I receive of the world. And if somebody is not willing to do that, then they would not be part of my world. It is as simple as that. I'm not here to entertain anybody. I'm here to live my own life on my own terms. And you have to have this attitude of, even as a word, you have to have this attitude of nonchalant, like you just don't give a monkey's. People walk out of your life, more will enter. You have to have this abundance mindset with people, with situations, with goals, with directions, with whatever. If it feels good, go all the way. If it doesn't, listen to your gut feeling. But stop living your life. I'm moving away from the topic, but it does. I'll come around to it. But stop kind of having this kind of victim mindset of, I'm going to have negative thoughts all day long, yet I expect to have a wonderful life. That's not how it happens. We all have what's the word? We all have our part to do. So obviously God has a part in your life, but you have a part to take in or to do. So do your part very well, but with an attitude of, do you know who I am? and look after yourself like someone very important. And imagine, I always imagine this because I listen to Louise Hay, I think almost every day, and she passed on a long time ago, but she talks about self-love and self-acceptance, forgiving yourself for making mistakes, for accepting silly people in your life for whatever reason, and remember, sometimes they're just there to teach us a lesson, or we learn something anyway, and then they move on, and we also move on to our next journey of life. So don't kind of see your life as this crazy train that is out of control, and you happen to be sitting next to the driver. yet you take no part in it. So don't envision yourself like that. You have a full control, or at least some percentage of control, a large percentage, I would say. And just use the universal energies or laws, and develop yourself. Do kind of personal work, listen to yourself, forgive yourself, nourish your body, make sure you have a clean diet, you drink water, you exercise, you do all these sort of things. You also practice things like self-love. Tell yourself every day when you wake up things you love about yourself. So you can say, I love my eyelashes. You can say, I don't know, I love my eyes, or my lip shape, or I don't know, my skin tone, or my curly hair, or I don't know, but whatever that is for you, try and do it every single day. Also, the other thing that kind of grounds us and makes us humble and at peace is really gratitude. So practice gratitude every day. Say things like, when you wake up early in the morning, what you're grateful for. So early in the morning, once you wake up and you're still in bed, you can say, I'm thankful I've woken up. I am thankful for my safe, quiet, lovely home. I'm thankful for the food in the fridge, or that me and my family are healthy, or that we have another day to live, and things like that. So practice gratitude. Don't be a victim to anybody, not in situations, whether it's relationship, friendship, none of it. Take control of your life and practice self-love. Take care of yourself. I always tell people, imagine if you were told a CEO of a certain company is going to come and stay at your house for the week or for 2 days or whatever. You would go out of your way, honestly, you would go out of your way to like allow them to sleep on your bed, or I don't know, you would start doing home makeovers, you would get shopping, you would cook, you would do everything you possibly can to make that person comfortable because of their status. Now imagine treating yourself, imagine yourself or treating yourself as if you are that CEO and practice it. treat yourself well. Don't ever hear yourself don't ever hear yourself talk negative about yourself. It's damaging. It is cruel. You wouldn't do it to anyone, so don't do it to yourself. If there's anybody in your family or friends, and I know we all have challenging family members, I know I do. If there's anybody in your family that always puts you down, makes you less than perfect, if it's a husband or a wife or anybody, tell them tell them not to disrespect you. Make sure you create boundaries. Do whatever you can, even if you can't fully block them or get rid of them. Explain to them, if I hear you say that about me again, and put your foot down. Tell people, expect nothing but the best. You were not born to be mistreated, disrespected, belittled, and any of that. We are born free. We have free will. We are more powerful than we appear. So I want you to practice it. I don't like to be rude or unnecessarily I don't like drama, I don't like arguments, anything like that. But if I'm forced to defend myself, I really do it, and I put people in their place. But before I do that, I give them a warning. Then it's like a storm. I do that because I don't do that to myself. I don't do that to anybody. So I wouldn't expect that from anybody. Not even from my own mother. I love my mother, but I will not expect any nonsense. And my family know this. I'm very supportive. I'm very loving. But I also have a side to me that a lot of them would not like to see it twice. And so have that kind of no-nonsense approach. Don't mistreat people, but don't you accept it to yourself, not from anybody. And life is difficult enough without people adding to or making it more difficult. The other thing is work on the goals, work on yourself. It is very attractive. When was it? This morning, when I opened my Facebook and I had my latest podcast, and because of the post and just the amount of interest that I have, and I think if I list all the things that I'm interested in, we'll be here till tomorrow. So I want keep you till tomorrow. But it was I had this comment under my podcast this morning, and someone said, you're very intriguing. And I think it was, you're very intriguing, and it was, you're very intriguing, intelligent, and I find you attractive. Can you believe it? I was like, oh my God. and all I wrote on to reply to this comment was, thank you very much. I know exactly what I am. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because had I said, oh, do you really think so? I'm not really sure, and all that kind of stuff, it would I feel like my subconscious, or anybody actually, subconscious is always listening, so you must not say the wrong things. So if somebody gives you a compliment, if and I'm doing my podcast or posting or inspiration or whatever, so if someone compliments me on that, then I just say thank you. I don't start denying, oh no, this is not me, I'm just no, I expect it fully, and I just say thank you. Be graceful, accept things. The other thing is accepting gifts. I'm always giving out gifts to friends and family. So it's usually very small. So when I do receive a gift from a family, friends and family, or it's my birthday or something like that, I don't expect it, but when I do get it, I do say thank you and kind of appreciate it. And that I'm telling you all this to say that I love myself very, very, very deeply. I accept myself in all the flaws and in all the glorious mistakes and whatever. I am also always working on myself. I'm always learning. I'm always pushing myself. I'm always exploring. I'm always kind of going the extra mile. So, and I do that so I could be the best version of myself for that particular month or each year, or just grow in every way. And just dress well, make sure your home, everything that we have or like or think of or dream about or wish or desire, admire, do you know that it's a reflection of ourselves? My home is a reflection of me. The fact that I love bright colors is a reflection of me. There's nobody on this planet that would miss that I'm from East Africa, just with I love color. I love absolutely everything, whether it's makeup or perfume or bags, or I'm typical girly girl, and this is all reflection of me. I love poetry, I love quotes, I love music. I love things that are very, very expressive, people that are very expressive. My taste in anything, whether it's music, clothes, my visions, the things that I desire, the things I want to have in the future, the type of person that I am, it's all reflective of myself. Even when I make, a small post on anywhere, but usually Facebook. I just love Facebook. Nobody will miss that. Nobody will. I know nobody will think of that quote, and it's that's why it's a lot of people say that I'm intriguing. They won't come up with that quote. It's not that it's difficult. It's just that the sort of thoughts that I entertain, others wouldn't, because I'm very, very open-minded. I'm always receiving, always exploring, always learning. Just yesterday I was watching one of my favorite Korean YouTubers, and he said something that was very strange to me. He said he likes the sound of the keyboard, when you're typing on it. He likes that sound, and I have to say, I was like, I don't think I've even thought of it, but I love people that are like nerds and peculiar, and they're kind of strange and very unique. And I've always considered myself as a wild soul, but also very peaceful. I'm very peaceful. I'm very I don't know, mysterious and in some ways, but also very open-minded. I don't really have any limitations on where my inspirations, my thoughts, or my just things that I'm into come from. They come from all walks of life. It's from it's from everywhere, from the programs that I watch, to the food that I eat, to the I don't know, the colors that I love. I'm always inspired. I'm always learning, and it's good to be this open-minded, because you just receive a lot more messages, a lot more intuition, and a lot more flow. I don't know how to describe it. So don't be close-minded. Don't just say I'm going to learn from, I don't know, only from a Muslim, or only from a whatever, African, or just don't be that kind of, don't set limits on things. I was having a discussion with a friend of mine the other day, and I think this friend of mine anyway had a job interview, and it's good to roughly have kind of prepare what you're gonna say and roughly do things like that. But I was advising him to allow the conversation to flow. I don't like when things are planned to the T and it's so rigid, and it kills the flow. I love conversations that I've never planned on having and they just happen out of the blue, and it's so refreshing, and it's so open, and you get to know the person a lot more. You just learn so much. So I always tell people, don't plan things like quite roughly. Like if it's a holiday, plan the destination you would go, maybe the hotel, but don't plan the floor you're gonna stay. Don't plan the meals you will have. That's too rigid. Even if the pasta, whatever, sounds amazing on the menu, maybe try other things that you would discover. And I always tell people, like, I had it even with my food, I'm always discovering new ways or new kind of things to add to the salad dressing, or maybe mixing up of new chili recipes and things like that. You go far in life when you have a flow to your plan, and it's not so rigid. And this goes for conversations as well. If you're planning on, I don't know, going for a date or something like that, you're just gonna have a conversation, even with a friend. Try and be just open. See where the conversations kind of lead you to, rather than planning them. I don't know about you, but nothing I've ever planned worked, so I tend to just trust the rough plan of things and allow the rest to flow. It's much better that way, And I don't know, you might just learn more about yourself. Remember, we are always teaching or we're learning, so just keep those two things in mind. Love yourself, accept yourself, forgive yourself for the mistakes you've made, moments you left too long. Pray for people, send love out to the universe, especially nowadays with the viruses and the lockdowns and the madness that's happening. I listened to Louise Hay. I cannot recommend that lady enough. She really has changed a lot of my thinking, and I hope that's she changes your thinking too. Treat yourself like an important person. Eat well, take care of yourself. Don't accept any nonsense from nobody. And dress well. I've noticed something. People I have, like, just people in everyday, on the high street example, you would see, the people that love themselves, or you can see the people that love themselves. Example, by the way they're dressed, by maybe they've got a new hair color, they've got some piercings, or they cut their beard in a certain way, or they're wearing jewelry, or they just got a step in their they've just got that kind of suave, I don't know what the word was, to their walking. So they've got this kind of beautiful attitude. They earn the bit of pavement they're walking on, and you can just see. Now the other lot might as well be homeless by the way they're kind of droopy. They look down when they walk down the street, or their hair's all on front, like nothing is. Usually they wear all black, like we're going on a funeral, and it's just, well, they've got that attitude of, I'm just existing today. and you're like, oh my God, so just make sure a lot of even your expressions, the conversations you have. Some people, have you noticed, you will see the conversations you have with them will dry out very quickly, and there's others that God, I can imagine speaking to them for 7 hours. It's that good. And just be that kind of person that has so much to say, and they've got so much hobbies. When you have hobbies and you have interests and you have so many things going in your life, you've got so much to say. Usually people that have like conversations dry out are the ones that are not working on themselves, and they are the ones, they're not really evolving, they're just kind of existing. Now in my belief, existing is not where you want to be. Of course we all exist, but the living is where you want to be, especially living in the present, not in the past and not in the future. The past is gone and the future, is not here yet. So read, if you're someone who suffers from anxiety or depression, or I don't know, overthinking, things like that, you need to read the book, what is it called? How Not to Worry by Dale Carnegie. I think he wrote the book in the 1950s, early 60s. Brilliant book. It's got over 500 different people at different eras who conquered the problem of worrying, and some of them were like close to their early graves because of worrying, and they somehow came up with different ways of solving that issue. But as Dale quoted another person in the book, I cannot remember the person, but he said, live in day-tight compartment just today. You concentrate in all of your energy and in all of your being for today. That's it. Don't think about tomorrow or the next day or next week or I don't know, yesterday. None of that. Concentrate on completing whatever task you have, in front of you today. And it's okay if you have not completed, if you are like one or two things out of the list that you haven't done yet. It's okay. Put it on tomorrow's list. Like if you've got something like a laundry or shopping or cooking or things like that. It could be anything, but I'm just using these as an example. Put it on tomorrow's list. You're not on death row. Nobody's going to kill you if you haven't achieved it. And don't be a perfectionist either, in any way, shape or form. You're here to live. We all make mistakes. We fall and we get up, and we fall and we get up, and that's our life. So you must not hold yourself in this impossible in standards that you have to you have to do all these things. Like example, I have got 3 children, and within that 24 hours I have to be sleeping in certain hours, and I have to be nowadays we're not doing anything because of the lockdown, but still, I've got kids to feed, and so many. I still have to, drink certain amount of water and take my vitamins and clean the house and cook and homeschool, and so many madness that we kind of do during the day, and keep up with the family, and the list is endless. So sometimes I do my laundry late at night. I do certain things that I wasn't able to achieve. And if I can't achieve them on that day, I put it on the next day. So you have to kind of micromanage your life. Otherwise you'll drive yourself insane, and you'll become exhausted, and you will suffer from burnout. Burnouts are very, very real, and we must avoid them. So if you want to practice self-love, please do not overdo anything. What I do in my own life is do like a laundry day. Pick any day of the week and just do the laundry on that day. Pick any other day of the week and you can do your other cleaning of the house. Pick another day of the week and you can do the shopping. Usually you could be online nowadays and things like that. If you have children or teenagers or something like that, they can help with the cleaning and organizing their own rooms and things like that. It makes your job a lot less, and also teaches them the importance of hygiene and keeping their own life in order for the future, and create. I always have the most beautiful evenings in the evenings, because when I do all my runarounds during the day, I like to once the kids have gone to bed, then I like to create a very calm, peaceful evening where I can, especially now with the lockdown, where I can watch a film, I can catch up on my audio books, or posting, or things that I couldn't do during the week, or I can maybe do on the weekend, or but I like to do myself at least one or two things every single evening, and then I do that for an hour or two, and that's my way of rewarding myself. And you can do something similar if you wanna really relax and recover. A bath, especially in the winter, I can't emphasize enough. I've never been a shower person. Bath is necessary because the hot water is very, very good for easing the tension on the body or the muscles, and it's also great for stress, just to sit down and sit in that body, that in that hot water, and really think of nothing. And that's where I listen to my audiobooks. What else? Do things that are rewarding to you. Eat your favorite food. Maybe read in bed. Something relaxing, very calming. Don't pick up the phone. This is what I'm also practicing. Don't pick up the phone, I think, after 9 o'clock. Unless it's an emergency, but even if it's an emergency, you're not the ambulance, let them call the ambulance. But have a cut-off time where your day ends and your evening starts. It's very important to do that, otherwise you would have this go lifestyle, and I would end up in hospital. I have to recover every from each day, and download, and just get rid of whatever you had to deal with on that day. So do that. Have a cut-off point in the evening, and that would make your life a lot easier. Other than that, stop the negative self-talk. Stop telling yourself you're ugly, you made a mistake, or nothing will happen for you, or any of those ridiculous things. The skies are open, as Muslims were. As a Muslim, we believe that the heavens are open, and if you say things repeatedly, it's kind of your way of praying for it. So make sure I don't really play around. I don't ever say anything I don't want to come true. So this is why when people ask me how are you, I always say I'm fine, even if I've got a cold, or if I'm tired, or anything like that. I always tell them I'm really fine, everything is good. Oh, alhamdulillah, I am good. The whole family is well, thanks for asking. We are good. God is good. I always say things like that because the heavens are open, and I don't want to start complaining. I hate people who complain, and so does God. He doesn't want to hear it. And can you blame him? If you complain about everything, from the traffic to the weather, and such a mundane things, well, there's people in coma or in death row jails or whatever, in the grave. We've got big matters to be worried about. You should not complain about mundane things like the weather. Honestly, do you know how good the rain is? It clears all the nonsense. Even when it's raining, even the hay fever, the allergy suffering people that like myself, the hay fever, the pollen goes down, the air is cleaner, there's less wind, or I don't know, less things flying around. So the what do you call, the rain is a blessing, even if it's windy, if it's snow, I don't care. Just appreciate it for what it is. That's it. Move on, concentrate on something more important. Do you really not have anything that more important in your life that you would actually notice the weather? I don't even notice the weather because I've got more important things to worry about. We should also be very grateful. Every season has its benefits, and it has its not so beneficial side. But just concentrate on the good. That's it. So don't complain. Be grateful more. Be grounded in gratefulness. Your life will change. Give back. Be charitable. Be good. Don't talk about people. Don't hate. Don't get jealous. Don't be envious. Concentrate on your own life. The only competition you have against yourself is your former self from yesterday. That's it. And that's it. Just practice self-love. Forgive yourself. Nobody's born perfect. We are physically perfect in the way that we are designed, but in terms of our human limitation, we are a work in progress at best. That's not to say that we cannot save or try our very best. I'm just saying we all have our shortcomings, and so keep that in mind. And listen to Louise Hay and other motivational speakers. I love Louise Hay particularly because she talks about self-love, self-acceptance, and a lot of work on the self. And this is what she says: prosperity begins with ourselves. Would you be really happy about a castle or a mansion if you didn't feel good about yourself? No. Well, prosperity begins with ourselves first. If you feel good about yourself now, then you will forever be feeling good about yourself. Don't wait till you get married, or till you have the son, or the perfect job, or the beautiful house, or whatever other things people wait for nowadays, or the perfect holiday, to be happy. Happiness happens now, and it happens at this present time. Otherwise you are denying your existence, which is unfair treatment of yourself. We must be compassionate to ourselves first before you're compassionate to yourselves, to anybody else. So just remember that everything you do for yourself that is good is an act of kindness for yourself. And listen to Louise Hay. She will change your life forever. And take an active role in your life. Work on yourself. Be someone who's all about their growth in every way. The mindset, your perspective, your attitude. Treat people well, and in no time you would start to live well, and live a long and prosperous life. And so I would leave you with that, and say good night, and thanks for listening. I really appreciate all the support and all the love and all the comments that I get on all my podcasts. And anybody can start their own podcast if you want to join me and take do a podcast with me, I would love that. You can leave your comments or your questions, and I'll speak to you soon. Okay, bye-bye. Love yourself, and thanks for listening.